right, yeah, interesting.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
What's happening, friends? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. Do hope you're doing well, mate. Chelsea 2, Wrexham 2 in the United States of America for Chelsea's first pre-season tour game. I watched it, and yeah, fine. Cool, so thanks for hanging out with my match reviews. I'm going to go into it today. I must say, early doors, man, I saw accidentally saw a bit of the meltdown before I saw the game. There was a meltdown on X, on the social media platform X. And I was thinking, firstly, like, why do you even care? Like, give your head a wobble, mate. Do you know what I mean? Have a word with yourself. We lost to Rapid Vienna in 2016 and then won the Premier League. Like, really doesn't matter. It's about fitness. It's about just having a look at them. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't even a loss. And yeah, so that was early doors what I was thinking. And by the way, let's just get this in early. When you are a team of still quite new players, young players, lots of new signings, playing a completely new brand of football, and when I say completely new, I mean completely new brand of football, you're in pre-season, the last thing you want to come up against is like a 4-4-2 or a 5-3-2 Blood and Thunder Football League team that are so well drilled over a multiple year period under their manager, Phil Parkinson. That's the last thing you want when you're trying to execute your new ethos, your new philosophy, when you've got bloody McLean and Palmer coming up against you. So that's tough, bro. But there were positives, certain player performances and stuff like that. And obviously we did the classic loads of changes at halftime, which sort of sent us out of our rhythm a little bit. But yeah, fine, bro. Strap yourselves in. Thank you for supporting the content as always. We go again into another Chelsea season, and I want you with me. So if you dig the content, thank you very much. Consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, hit the bell. Thank you for liking the video in the meantime to support the content. Alright, let's have a look then. I'm going to use SofaScore here for the lineup. As you can see, this is the first half, bro. It's listed here as a 3-4-3. This is not very 3-4-3, if you ask me. It's very, like, akin to Pep Guardiola's 3-2-4-2, where they have one, whatever it is. Where somehow it just looks like you got more players. You know, when you see sort of like, I mean, look, Tyreek George and Carney Chukwuemeka playing wing backs? I don't think so. And if you look here, can I move this? Oh, you can't. So, I have to move this. Hold on. So, if you see there, look, Carney Chukwuemeka, that's apparently a right wing-back heat map. Not so much, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know what I mean? So, it's a very interesting formation. With a lot of mobility. But we did see in the starting lineup, Sanchez in goal, Tosin, Benoit Badiashile and Levi Colwill creating that defensive line. Reece James in essentially what was just a double pivot with Romeo Lavia. I know it's an inverting right back, but bro just never left the central defensive midfield position, and Lavia as well next to him, and Tyreek George would have kept a bit of width, Carney Chukwuemeka did, but there was a lot of rotation, not so much with James and Lavia, but with that front five. So it kind of does, it's a block five and a front five, a lot like Thomas Tuchel, but without, Thomas Tuchel had very strict wing-backs in Reece James and Ben Chilwell. This was a lot more narrow, a lot more rotation within the front line. Christo, Gu, and Noni Madueke completing the front three. Now, it's worth saying, in the first 2 minutes, Levi Colwill had a fight with James McLean. Which I think is embarrassing. Look, McLean's obviously a bit of a knob. And Levi, I know you're a kid, man. He's 20, 21 years old. Just get over it, bro. I know it's good to show a bit of passion. It's a pre-season friendly against Wrexham. It's unbecoming, and Levi's got that bit about him. Look, don't get me wrong, man. I need to get this in early. I like a bit of that, especially when you're Chelsea. I liked it, when Enzo Fernandez first signed for Chelsea, and he was the only one fighting the Man United fans, and he seemed more like classic, golden era Chelsea than the rest of them. I like a bit of that, but as a 20-year-old in a preseason friendly, your first one against Hollywood Wrexham, getting in a scrap in the second minute with James McClean, I must say, is a bad look. All right, so look, we got a goal in the first half, and it was Christopher Nkunku. Let me just talk about that goal and Christopher Nkunku. I will talk about who I thought played well generally, but this is the thing with Nkunku, right? Because I keep saying to you guys, to the point where I feel like a bit boring repeating myself, but he's such a good finisher, Nkunku. And he's not like the kind of finisher that we saw, the glancing header last season. He can score, he can just lash one in, top bins. He's really really good transitionally. So giving him the ball and running on the break, and 1v1ing and tucking it away. All that stuff. But also, and equally, some might say more importantly, he's a sniffer in the box. Do you know what I mean? The goal he scored today, he's done that before. He shows you, if there's a ball that falls in the box, he's just going to lash it home. And you scored Diego Costa scored loads of goals like that. Good goal scorers score goals like that. If the ball comes near you in the box, you just put it away. You can do all the fancy headers and volleys and one-on-ones and whatever. Do you know what I mean? And technical flicks. But if the ball is near, if you can have a premonition that the ball's going to drop in the 18-yard box and you can just score a scrappy finish, that is Premier League winning stuff, mate. Do you know what I mean? And he does that. Noni Madueke, I'm reading his name. Christopher Nkunku. So really, really important that he does that. He doesn't need to just be some sort of sexy, cultured finisher. That's what we want. He needs a bit of everything. And that is why, sweet friends, Nkunku needs to be on the pitch. Of course, playing left wing-ish today. Let's just quickly have a look at his heat map. Okay, I'll just pull it over here. As you can see, yeah, kind of just always receiving it in that pocket on the left. 7.5 rating for him on Sofa Score. So we look pretty good in the first half. Like I said, it was very interesting. It's very, very much... Reece James, again, let's just show you, move over here to see his heat map. That is just a right CDM spot with Reece James. Very little time in the right back spot. That space occupied mainly by Tosin Adarabioyo, excuse me. Very, very good indeed. Look, man, so we made loads and loads of changes into the second half. As you can see here, we see Breuer come on, we see Chilwell come on, Breuer, Breuer, Gusto, and Gusto, like Maresca said, it came to pass. He played in the inverted right back role, which is interesting. We said, okay, Cucurella suits it. We said, okay, Renato Vega suits it. But no. Even though James does, no one thought Gusto would. But yeah, he's inverting the right back. So Gusto played there as well, which kind of worries me a little bit. Like, we're going to get the best out of Gusto. Putting Renato Vega there or Cucurella, I'm like, yeah, suits them. We're not going to lose much out of them. But Reece James, you think he'd lose a bit because he's amazing at flying forward. He can score goals. His crosses into the box from the byline, Reece James, are literally, people talk about Trent. Reece is up there as well. So you feel like you lose a bit. Breuer, Gusto, you feel like you lose a bit as well, but, if it's for the sake of the system and the system wins you football matches, fine. Gusto came on, Leslie Ugochukwu came on, Sterling, Bergstrom on goal, Chimpong, centre-back, one of the wider centre-backs, Wes Fofana, and then Santos and Angelo, the young Brazilians, in as well. Now, of course, it created a... disharmony, loads of changes. We conceded 2 goals in this half to Wrexham, and and both of them sort of screamed little mess ups in midfield, and then ultimately Bergstrom was in goal for both of them. I feel quite bad for him. He actually didn't look quite good in either of the goals, but I don't think either of them was his fault per se. He came for the first one and then it was just carved out behind him. The second one that was scored by Marriott, he puts it on the floor down where Bergstrom's flank is, and you can't get it. It's a good finish, to be fair. There will be the 2 goals that you'd be very upset to concede because they just, even though the second was a good finish, they felt quite easy. The Bolton goal, which was the original equaliser, is Yeah, it was just like, like Bergstrom runs out to him. It's a bit of a mess up, poor communication, and seemingly the second in midfield, I think like Santos and, had a little bit of a funny moment, and Chimpong had a couple of wobbly moments as well. Fine though, do you know what I mean? These are like senior first teamers for, Wrexham. These are just kids being thrown in, and like I say, a totally new style of football. It's totally fine, bro. So they go ahead, and they enjoy a spell of pressure, Wrexham. But Chelsea come back into it. We get the equaliser by Leslie Ugochukwu in the 82nd minute. It's an assist by Breuer. People are frustrated by Breuer's striker performances, but it's a lovely little layoff, back-facing goal, deliberate layoff to the midfielder who finishes nicely. And then, we have a few moments. Raheem Sterling looks pretty good, actually. Yeah, man. So let's talk about player performances, because that is a big, big thing in this game, right? So the goalkeepers, neither of them particularly excited me. Rob Sanchez, I just don't know. I still don't know. Obviously we're looking at buying the Philip Jorgensen from Villarreal. We'll see what happens with that. Defenders, I think Colwill, fine. I don't like how he fights. Benoit Badiashile, I think out of all the defenders, was probably my I was least impressed with him. Quite impressed with Tosin. I don't think he's going to be like this superstar Galactico defender, Tosin, but I think he's going to be a very reliable and serviceable, experienced central defender that's in his prime, that has leadership quality. So very, very happy for him indeed. In terms of defenders that came in, and Chimpong, we know is a good player. If he tried to score a goal at some point, he is a good player. Gusto looks good in the inverting role. I'm just trying to look at the defenders that came on here. Wes Fofana, I just feel so good seeing Wes Fofana on the pitch. He's, I'm a big fan. I think he's super cultured. I think he's aggressive. I think he's got, he can decide how good he wants to be. He's so good. I was probably most impressed with, probably on the day, Tosin and maybe Wes, just to see him back and see how he plays on the ball, how he's viewing the team in front of him, his touches, his movement, his strength. Really, really good. In terms of Reece James, I thought, looks like, it's so interesting watching Reece James play there, because it's not like, obviously he played fantastic for Wigan in midfield. Yeah, it's going to get used, I'm going to need to get used to seeing him there, like, occupying the midfield, because it really is. It's not like he tucks in every now and again. It's like, I am here, bro. Like, man's just hearing it. Do you know what I mean? This is just where I hang out now. And so for him, like, turning, receiving the ball, half space, passing, holding the ball up, like, he can do it all. Can we see him get the best out of his immense passing ability there? We will see. Huge positive, Romeo Lavia. Not that he necessarily performed amazingly, but we know he's very, very highly rated, and he looks fit, and he looks, ready to play, which is, for me, is massive. Tyreek George, I think, had a few moments in that sort of peculiar hybrid wing-back, inside player role, which is very, very interesting. I think he looked good. Again, he had a couple of moments when he's frustrated with himself. He ran the ball out of play, but generally pretty impressive, you'd have to say. Carney, we know Carney's a good player. We will get an opportunity to see him do that combination of play in the 18-yard box where he scores goals, he assists, he does good link-up play. Maybe a little bit today, but not necessarily loads. I'm just going through the players now that I've listed that will... players like Gusto and Chilwell, conventional, a little bit more reserved role for Chilwell because he's tucking in as that sort of left centre-back and gets forward less. Yeah, I mean, I am worried for Chilwell in terms of his player profile to see how he works there. But, he's a good footballer. He has time. Gusto, fine, had a little moment. He did look quite comfortable. He looked like he could make those driving runs that we enjoy seeing Gusto make on the right wing, the right flank, the right fullback position. He kind of was making a few in the inside, and that's actually very dangerous if a player's running at you like that from the midfield, because defenders hate that. They want you out wide. So if he's doing what he does out wide, down the middle, happy days. I just want to get through some more deeper players before I talk about the attackers. Santos came on, looked alright, a bit wobbly. Of course, interestingly, Leslie Ugochukwu came on. I'm just going to look at his heat map. Yeah, Leslie Ugochukwu, he was sort of playing as that right-sided Carney Chukwuemeka player. He's like a right wing back. Of course, he got the goal. The goal wasn't playing from his right. I'm going to show you his heat map quickly because this is Leslie Ugochukwu's heat map, a central defensive midfielder that we've been used to at Chelsea. That is a right mid. It's not even a right wing back. It's like a right mid player, isn't it? From like a 4-4-2. Interesting. Obviously, you got the goal. The goal was literally just being in the box at the right time and receiving Breuer's layoff, so it wasn't from playing a right mid role, right back role, right wing back role. But very interesting because for me, I thought Leslie Ugochukwu was just gonna play as a CDM, sit in front of a back four, and this is very, very different. It'd be interesting to see what Enzo Maresca's thinking about him. Attackers, right? Angelo didn't get a chance to really express himself. He was part of that dysfunctional second half. I think Raheem Sterling looked a little bit better than Angelo, personally. We know Raheem, keep him on my powder dry, but we know Raheem Sterling is a capable footballer in a system, but he kind of needs that system. He can't play hero ball, so I'm hoping this will suit him. We'll see what happens there. Breuer, sort of ever frustrating, but, a nice intelligent layoff to score the equaliser. That is a good centre-forward play. In terms of the starters, out of the three, Noni Madueke most disappointing, really keeping the width there, probably allowing Carney Chukwuemeka to come inside him a little bit more. That's why Carney probably had such a more inverted heat map as opposed to when Leslie Ugochukwu came on. Leslie kept the width. Carney from that position was going inside, and Noni was drifting wide and keeping the width. We're going to need Noni to hopefully be good this season because we are in loads of competitions. The wingers are really important to Enzo Maresca, and I have a feeling we might see Cole Palmer be one of these players that come inside a little bit more. We'll see what happens. Regardless, there'll be plenty of minutes for Noni Madueke. So, Christopher Nkunku, good. Very, very good. Again, very pleased just to see him fit and playing like Romeo Lavia. Keep this guy fit. He will score goals for Chelsea. I did in my prediction video, he will be Chelsea's top scorer, over Cole Palmer and people, and over Nico Jackson. Keep Christopher Nkunku fit. And I want to end on Mark Gue, because I thought he was very, very impressive. Mark Gue is still 18, isn't he? He's still 18. He's just turned up at Chelsea. I don't know how much English he speaks, if any. And he's been thrown into this first start here, first pre-season game as the centre-forward. And I was very impressed with him, dude. Honestly, I feel like he looked... Obviously, he didn't score or assist, but just how he played. He ran in behind. He ran with the ball. He opened up spaces. He completed 2 dribbles as well. I'm looking at here as well. Still dug in. He got, tackle in, etc. Won a foul. This sort of really all-action centre-forward. And what I was comparing it to, what my test was, I was thinking about, David Washington, who cost us, 20 million? Do you know what I mean? Or something like that. And in my head, I'm thinking, how is he compared to him? Way better. Mark Gue looks like he should be there, and he's going to be useful, and I'm a striker, and I'm going to cause problems here, and this, that, and the other, and I liked it. I think it looked really, really good, and it looks like he's just ready for men's football, whereas when we saw David Washington play, he was just overwhelmed and couldn't make the runs and couldn't affect the play. I thought Mark Gue was exactly the opposite. Maybe, of course, because Gue's been playing in European football, where Washington was playing in South American football, but he's still an 18-year-old kid that, made a couple of appearances for Barcelona's first team, but here it looks like he could... from what I've seen, we need him in the squad. We're in the Conference League, we've got the Club World Cup. Especially if we don't sign a striker, Nkunku will score goals, Jackson will score goals, Cole Palmer will score goals. They're your 3 bankers. And then you need other options. So we need to see how his goal-scoring prowess is. But in terms of general play as a centre-forward, very impressed by Mark Gue. Alright guys, so that's my take on the game. What do you think? Please leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Man, keep it locked to Football Therapy. I will try and cover the games if I manage to watch them. And of course, I'm covering all the transfer news and general Chelsea news here on the channel. So turn the bell on if you choose to subscribe. Love you very much, and see you back here soon, hopefully. Peace.